Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into PTA. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Really excited about today as obviously the Packers are getting kicked off in their final preseason matchup, having the Seahawks at Lambeau Field. Going to be a lot of fun to see these camp battles kind of unfold in that regard. So we're going to cover a little Baron Sorrell, not really an update, but a really cool tweet, some posts he put out on social media that's exciting to me. And then we'll hit maybe 7 or 8 camp battles to look for today. Just a real quick stream. Obviously, we're doing our pregame show later this afternoon, roughly 1:45 p.m. Central Time. We'll go live for that. But before we do that, before we get into the camp battle information, if you would, hit that like button, hit subscribe. If you're new here, thank you for making us a part of your day. Welcome into PTA. Listen, we're not experts. We're not insiders. What we are fans just like you out here talking Packers on the daily. Obviously, you'll be able to see our pregame show later today, our postgame show as well, and we'll be doing film breakdown off of that game along with every single game that the Packers play this season. So, with that being said, if you're looking for that type of content, make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, and click that bell icon so you're notified every time that we do go live. All right, let's dive into it, man. Let's jump into what's going on around Baron Sorrell first and foremost. Put this tweet out. He also put a story out on IG that said the same thing. Soon, ... I don't know about you guys, but I'm really excited to see Baron Sorrell back on the field. I thought we got good news when, after we seen the injury there in the preseason game to the knee on the kickoff play. I was a little nervous, like, oh no, did we just lose him for the year? Did we lose him for half the year? It seems like he's going to be back sooner than later. As you can see, he puts this tweet out, obviously joint practice there against the Colts, and just says soon. So I think there's a reasonable chance that he's not going to go onto IR and be out the first 4 weeks of the season. Now, could it still be a possibility? I think so, but I think we're looking at more something more along the lines of him being back maybe week 2 or 3. Maybe that's wishful thinking. You guys let me know in the comments what you think about that for sure. And let's see here, moving along to the camp battles. Let's just jump into this real quick. And for whatever reason, I'm not getting the comments on the StreamYard, but I see them flying in on YouTube, guys. So I apologize. I won't be able to see your comments. I don't know why it's not integrated into StreamYard. Maybe where I created this live stream at the last second, but appreciate y'all tuning in. I see everybody in here. Tad Samato, we got Bungie, Cheddar Bug, Holmes MD1, Jen Wright. Thank y'all so much for hopping in here. Appreciate y'all. Again, I'm not ignoring you. The comments are just not popping up on my screen. Let me see. I might be able to put them on the main screen though. That may help, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. All right, let's jump into it here. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Bill Huber, who's just been doing an excellent job writing these articles this year. The majority of this information I'm going to cover was kind of his take on these position battles, okay? And I'm going to try to get this just right so everybody can read it a little bit easier. So this is some cliff notes from his articles and other things that's kind of surfaced as we've gotten a little bit longer into camp. So here's some of the camp battles. I want to give my take along with these key statistics, facts, whatever you have there from Bill Huber. So quarterback, Sean Clifford versus Taylor Elgersma, all right? It's a battle likely for a practice squad spot, but winner could become the number 2 quarterback next offseason. Now, what does that mean? Obviously, Malik Willis in the final year of his deal, I would love to see them re-sign Malik Willis to a very similar contract to like a Tyler Bagent. I think it's his name. Maybe it's Taylor Bagent in Chicago. Listen, man, there's nothing wrong with shelling out $5 to $8 million per for a backup quarterback. We seen firsthand last year. If we hadn't had Malik Willis, I think everybody feels comfortable saying that if Sean Clifford had been the quarterback those 3 games or two games starting and then came in relief, I believe it was against Jacksonville. I don't know if the Packers win those games, man, because Malik Willis played really good football. So you got to ask yourself, what's the price tag for something like that, right? What's the price tag for having a backup quarterback that can come in and maybe even just go 500? You know what I mean? Like if he has to play 4 games and he wins 2 games, to me, that's worth $5 to $8 million, maybe even a little bit more. I think it's that important. And as we always say, the backup quarterback is obviously the personal assistant to the starting quarterback. So that stuff's worth mentioning as well. So moving along here, Clifford received key reps, including game-deciding 2-minute drill versus the Colts and joint practice versus the Seahawks. Coach Matt LaFleur seeks someone who can command the offense, favoring Clifford's experience, but with developmental upside. Advantage Elgersma due to his arm talent and higher developmental potential. I agree with that. If I had to make the decision today, and listen, we're going to see these guys today, obviously, as we go out there and play against the Seahawks in the final preseason game. If I had to make the decision right now, I'm going Taylor Elgersma over Sean Clifford. I don't think teams are going to be clawing and tripping over each other to try to get Sean Clifford on the practice squad. Now, some would say they don't think they'd be doing the same thing with Taylor Elgersma, right? Well, obviously, they have to sign both of these players or whichever one they want to pick up onto their 53-man roster. So now the question becomes, which one of these 2 quarterbacks, if you want to keep them both on your practice squad, and I don't know if the Packers will do that, but if you want to keep them both on your practice squad, which one of these 2 do you think teams are more likely to sign, right? That's what it comes down to. And you've got to kind of take that into consideration. If you catch wind, if you hear word on the street that teams are going to kind of clamoring over Elgersma, they seen the arm talent too, they would like to put them on the 53-man roster. Maybe the Packers do carry a third for just a day or 2, let the dust settle, then try to pass them through waivers on the 53. We've seen that happen in the past, not specifically with the quarterback position, but other spots. You could tell the Packers are kind of jockeying to do that. So something to keep an eye on. I would choose Elgersma over Clifford. Moving on to running back, long shot for a 4th running back spot. Assumes Marshawn Lloyd, and this was, I think, Bill Huber that assumed this, assumed Marshawn Lloyd would be placed on injured reserve, leaving Josh Jacobs, Emmanuel Wilson, and Chris Brooks as the top 3. I completely agree with those top 3 right there. Candidates, Izzy Abanaconda, right? Strong rushing versus the Colts, special teams contributions as well. They love him on kickoff return. And Amar Johnson, who's explosive. He had 2 15-plus yard carries in the preseason. So we had 2 different explosive runs in the preseason. You guys seen the long touchdown run against the Colts there. So for me in this decision here, I'm personally going with Amar Johnson over Izzy Abanaconda. It doesn't mean they both won't make it to the practice squad, but me personally, if I had to choose between the 2, I'm going with Amar Johnson. I think Amar Johnson has shown he's a more pure runner, right? Now, they haven't used him much on special teams, if at all, so your value goes down a little bit there. And I kind of felt like they were trying to give Abanaconda as much of an opportunity as possible on kickoff returns to kind of justify his spot on the roster. So for me personally, I like Amar Johnson a lot better. Had a lot of success at the college level, albeit he was at South Dakota State, much smaller school. We said the same thing about Tucker Kraft, and boy, oh boy, has that worked out, right? We said the same thing about Christian Watson, and when he's healthy, he's one of the most dynamic wide receivers in the league. So I would go Amar Johnson in that specific position battle. Up next, receiver, Malik Heath versus McCole Hardman. All right, key comparison, health, physicality in the run game. Obviously, we call him Cooler for a reason on here. He'll block a guy to the cooler. We got the tape to back it up. Love his physicality in the run game and blocking, obviously. And receiving versus Hardman's return history and speed. So with Hardman, you got special teams value, much like Abanaconda, like we had mentioned there, right? And he's got world-class speed. So you got a guy that's a speed threat, smaller in stature, and a return guy versus someone who's physical in run blocking and also better receiver, I think, at catching the ball than Hardman. It does kind of feel like that when it comes to Malik Heath. If I had to choose between those 2 today, it's tough. I'm going to kind of cop out here. I honestly think and I don't know, I'd have to look at the depth chart. We're going to waste way too much time doing this, but I don't care. It's going to drive me crazy if I don't look at this. So let's say, obviously, Christian Watson going on the IR pup, whatever you want to call it, right? So you got Romeo Dobbs, Matthew Golden, Jaden Reed, Savion Williams. If Savion doesn't go on IR to start the season, there's 4. Dontavion Wicks is 5. So there's your 5, in my opinion. I would much rather try to put Malik Heath and McCole Hardman on the practice squad if those 5 are healthy. If Savion Williams is not healthy and you can't plan on him playing week 1, then I would probably have to go the route between Malik Heath and McCole Hardman. I would probably go McCole Hardman, and I think Malik Heath would make it to the practice squad before McCole Hardman would. We had injuries going on through the preseason, this, that, and the other thing. Listen, people, players or teams love speed. I think it's more likely that Hardman gets picked up off waivers than obviously our boy Malik Heath. So I would lean toward McCole Hardman and be ready to activate Malik Heath on game day, because I don't think teams will have as much interest in him as maybe McCole Hardman. Moving on to offensive line. This one's really interesting to me. Kadeem Telford versus Donovan Jennings. Top 7 O-line are set. Jacob Monk is likely number 8 if he's healthy. Team usually keeps 9 to 10. There's where I'm going to push back just a touch. Guys, I kind of feel like Jacob Monk is a prime candidate to go to the practice squad. He has shown nothing. And I don't mean to be overly negative there. And listen, Jacob Monk is a way better athlete than I'd ever dream of being, right? There's no way I can do what he does. Please don't take this as, I'm trying to downplay Jacob Monk's, playability, his natural ability to block and play offensive line at the NFL. I'm not trying to tear him down. I'm just simply saying, when you look at everything that's happened across the board, I don't think he's done enough to warrant or to justify having a spot on the top 53. That's just me personally. I want to know everybody in the comments. Let me know if you disagree with that take or not, because I just haven't really seen it. So let's go with what Bill Huber said there. Jacob Monk likely number 8 if healthy. Team usually keeps 9 to 10. Telford, versatile. He's a tackle and a guard. Jennings, versatile. He's a guard learning center. Neither has stood out. Notable, Jennings playing right guard with the number 1 line during the 2-minute drill versus the Seahawks amid injuries, and advantage goes to Jennings for that very reason. I kind of feel like I would lean toward Telford if I had to choose between those two offensive linemen. I want to say Telford had a pretty good PFF grade the other day. I don't think Jennings has shown much personally. I know if you go back and watch preseason week 1, he got his butt kicked in the trenches. So I kind of feel like I would lean toward Telford than Jennings. And in terms of him being able to try to learn center, his snaps have been rough. So if it ever comes down to, man, we got to play Donovan Jennings at center, we got some big problems, right? And obviously when you look at the center position, not to spend too much time on that, when you look at the center position, it's going to be Elton Jenkins 1, Sean Ryan 2, probably Jacob Monk 3. If for some reason Elton Jenkins goes down and then Sean Ryan goes down, I mean, you could take any team across the National Football League, and if they're having to play with their third-string center, probably in a similar situation as the Packers would be if we had to have Donovan Jennings out there. So, again, I would lean toward Telford. I believe it was Bill Huber within this information that said he would lean toward Jennings. Moving on to defensive tackle, 3 for 2. All right. Kobe Wooden, Warren Brinson, Nazir Stackhouse. So the locks at defensive tackle are Kenny Clark, Devontae White, and Carl Brooks. I would agree with that too. Wooden, strong second half of camp, first team reps, brings experience, right? And that experience is a huge, huge deal to Jeff Hafley. I guarantee you it is. Brinson leads the team in preseason pressures. Packers favor draft picks, right? Stackhouse, strong camp, adds beef for the run defense. Advantage, none. Injuries elsewhere may allow room for all 6 defensive tackles despite potential overkill at the position. So Bill Huber saying, hey, man, we may carry 6 here, right? We may go that route. And if that's the case, I can kind of see the argument there. For me personally, I think that if you have to choose between one of the 3, okay, now obviously he's saying there's 2 spots here, pick 2 of the 3. Number 1 on this list for me would be Warren Brinson, hands down. And I know Stackhouse came out strong in camp and everybody was really excited about him, and I can understand why. But the reality is he went undrafted. Warren Brinson, there's a reason that we drafted him. I'm trying to remember. We took him, in the 6th round, pick 198. Probably took him in the 6th round because you were worried someone was going to nab him in the 7th round. Because by the time you get to the 6th round, guys, you've probably got a block of players that you're looking at in the same tier in terms of draft grade that I guarantee you it wasn't like this guy sticks out above all the rest as much as it was, all right, this guy's probably not going to make it to a UDFA, so let's go ahead and snatch him up. You end up getting both guys by obviously signing Stackhouse as a UDFA. I think there's a better chance Stackhouse fits on the practice squad or makes it to the practice squad as opposed to Warren Brinson probably going to get nabbed up. Same thing with Kobe Wooden, but I got to be honest, guys, I'm not as strong on Wooden, but if I were to say, let's predict this, I think it's going to be Wooden and Brinson on the 53, Stackhouse going to the practice squad, okay, if he doesn't get poached. That's me personally. If it was my decision to make, being 100% honest, I would go Brinson and Stackhouse and try to pass Wooden onto the practice squad. Because when preseason matters, camp matters, don't get me wrong. But when you go back to last season and you look at exactly how this has played out, right? What would you grade Colby Wooden's play on the field the last season in the NFL in the regular season? And if you can't say, a C+ or better, and I would probably put him somewhere around a D, then you're eliminating the opportunity to have a higher upside in a Brinson or a Stackhouse, whichever one you would choose to keep over Wooden, or keep Wooden over, I should say. So just kind of how I look at it. If I had to pick two of the three, I think the team will probably go Wooden and Brinson. If it were me, I'd go Brinson and Stackhouse and try to pass Wooden onto the practice squad. That's how I would approach that there. So moving along, linebacker, Isaiah Simmons versus Christian Welch. This one's really, really interesting. Battle for the fifth linebacker spot behind Quay Walker, Edrin Cooper, Isaiah McDuffie, and Tyron Hopper. I agree with those top four, no doubt about it. Simmons got elite tools, special team skills, Butkus Award winner, but slow in the passing game due to prior slot experience. Agent represents Jordan Love and Micah Parsons. So he's got David Mulugeta, or at least David Mulugeta's agency that represents him there. Welch, special team specialist with experience advantage, emphasizes value of prior reps. All right, that's Bill Huber emphasized that, I should say. Look at the chat just popped up. That's what's up right there. Fifth linebacker role, more about special teams than defense. Advantage, Welch, expected to make the roster after falling short last year. Here's the thing. When you look at how camps rolled out, I want to say it was Wildy that said this yesterday, Jason Wildy over on Wildy and Tausch. I think he said that Isaiah Simmons has been running with the ones on special teams. Like, it's him and Bo Melton, essentially. I think it was on punt team, gunning. And it's probably on kickoff team as well. So if it truly is about special teams, I think Isaiah Simmons has the edge over Welch. If it were me, based off what I've seen from the whole body of work, watching Welch last preseason ball out and us cut him, another team pick him up, watching Isaiah Simmons struggle this preseason, guys, again, not trying to be overly negative, he has looked bad, really bad. Like, he has not picked up that stack backer spot. So which one is better at special teams? It's probably Isaiah Simmons, but the more well-rounded and really good on special teams, don't get me wrong, is Christian Welch. It's not like he's bad on special teams. But the fact that he got Simmons running with the ones, it kind of feels like, to me, the team would lean towards Simmons, but I would definitely take him Welch over Simmons and try to get Simmons to the practice squad. There's a reason Simmons was available, and nobody offered him the minimum contract other than us, or maybe we gave him just a nab more guarantee than other teams for sure. So definitely worth watching special teams. As Jen Wright says here in the chat, special teams is going to be a big determining factor in cuts. That's probably where the most important film is today, Jen, in this game against Seahawks, is special teams. So it's a beautiful thing about preseason too, is you watch stuff that you normally wouldn't, right? So appreciate y'all being in here in the chat as it's on fire. I see Dennis in here as well. Dennis, you behave yourself, sir. I know how you do in the chat. All right, next, cornerback. 4 for 1 or 2. Not sure what the hell that means. Bill Huber's way more intelligent than me. Let's see what he says. Kalen King, Kamal Haddon, Micah Robinson, Corey Ballantyne. All right. Bo Melton has secured a spot moving off the bubble. I agree with that. I think Bo Melton is as clear a lock as you're going to find now. We just talked about he's number 1 on special teams in terms of gunning. I know now all of a sudden everybody's changed it to flyer to be politically correct. Get the hell away from me with that. They've been called gunners since as long as I've watched football. I'll be darned if I'm going to allow somebody else to tell, well, you shouldn't say gunner. That incites violence. Shut up. My God, it's a game. It's football. We're not talking about. All right. Bo Melton, I think he secured his spot. King, 7th round pick last year, improved after developmental year, first team reps and slot in the 2-minute drill versus the Seahawks. I heard somebody say the other day they felt like he was a lock. So it's kind of like Bo Melton is really secure, and now Kalen King has kind of slipped up into that spot where it's like, yeah, I think he's making the roster as well. Keep that in mind. Haddon, 6th round by the Chiefs last year, missed camp with a hip injury. Poor versus the Colts, but strong versus the Seahawks. A little bit of inconsistency there, obviously. Ballantyne, 2023 unsung hero, provides experience on defense/special teams. Robinson, 7th round this year, long shot, but could impress in the game. And then, of course, the advantage they're saying it goes to Kalen King, showing dividends from development per coordinator Derek Ansley, obviously the assistant coach, their passing game coordinator, I believe it is, in Derek Ansley. So, yeah, to me, Bo Melton and Kalen King are making this roster. It depends on how many you're going to carry. You're going to carry 5, you're going to carry 6, right? Let's look at the defensive depth chart here real quick. You got Nate Hobbs. Let's just start on the outside here. Keyshawn Nixon and Nate Hobbs. All right, so there's 2. Javon Bullard in the nickel, that's 3. All right. Bo Melton's 4. Carrington Valentine's 5. Kalen King is 6. All right. So now some people consider Javon Bullard a safety. I don't. He's our number 1 nickel back. That's what we've seen. I would be very, very, very surprised we come out week 1 and he's not our slot corner starting week 1. He's a second-round pick. He's shown growth. He played better there than safety last year. I don't think you want to stunt his growth getting a second-round pick on the field when he showed his strength was a spot where you've actually got an available slot there. We know injuries are going to happen as well, gang. And that's what's going to open the door for people like Carrington Valentine and Kalen King to get some playing time. So if you're carrying 6 corners, I can't remember what we broke camp with last year, but if you're carrying 6 corners, those are my 6, hands down. Micah Robinson, you're probably going to try to put on the practice squad, I would imagine. But as we talked about all these players here, it just takes an injury or two for these guys to, obviously be justified to have a roster spot. Now, let's make it difficult on ourselves here. Let's say we have to choose between Bo Melton and Kalen King. You can't deny the special teams value in Bo Melton, right? We got to that point. If special teams was a non-factor, I would much, much, much rather have Kalen King than Bo Melton. But special teams is huge, and Bo Melton is great as a gunner. There, I said it again. So I would go with him over Kalen King, but I think there's a realistic shot you carry 6. If you're considering Javon Bullard as a nickel, what you'll probably do is trim another spot off at the safety position. If we take a quick glance at the safety position here before we wrap up, Xavier McKinney, Evan Williams, let's pretend Javon Bullard is just going to sit over in the nickel spot. So the versatility of Javon Bullard being able to play safety in a pinch, and I think we would all agree, he's the 3rd safety on the depth chart, meaning if one of these guys goes down, right, if Evan Williams or Xavier McKinney, breaks a chin strap or a shoelace or something, and Javon Bullard has to step in for a handful of plays, or another safety has to step in for a handful of players, I think it's Javon Bullard. You probably kick Nate Hobbs to the slot. You bring in Carrington Valentine on the outside to round out your cornerback room. That's the beautiful thing about Javon Bullard, too. I don't understand the hate for him. There's a lot of versatility there that adds value, although I think we'd all agree he hasn't lived up to the second-round status, albeit just 1 year in the league. So you could probably get away with carrying 4 safeties as opposed to 5 last year. So if we carried 4, you're looking at Xavier McKinney, Evan Williams, right? And then you're probably going to go Katano, Ladapo, Zane Anderson. Those are your 4. If you carry 4 there, you can carry 6 at the cornerback position. If you want to call Javon Bullard a safety, you're carrying 5 safeties and only 5 corners. Nonetheless, that frees up that extra spot. I feel really comfortable. If no injuries occur today, knock on wood, Bo Melton and Kalen King will both make this roster. That's the way I would round out the cornerback room currently. So with that being said, that pretty much covers, like I said, majority of this information was Bill Huber's opinion on these camp battles. The guy I'm most excited about is the picture I picked right there for our Patreon right up here. Man, oh man, Amar Johnson. I kind of feel like he's Emmanuel Wilson. The Emmanuel Wilson we have today, guys, he was not that player when we brought him onto the team. I think he spent a little bit of time on the practice squad. I want to say we signed him off of Denver's practice squad. We might have put him on there a time or two. We may have kept him active the whole time. I feel like Amar Johnson has the traits, has the tools, has shown enough flash both in camp and in the preseason. I want to see him more today. He's shown enough to go in a year or two when Emmanuel Wilson is no longer on this roster. He may be able to come off the practice squad and be our next Emmanuel Wilson. And there's nothing better than saving money at the backup running back spot for sure, because we know running backs get hurt all the time. Chris Casuin, good to see you, buddy. Says exactly Clayton Amar next Wilson. Kind of feels like that, man. It does. It does feel like that. So Dennis Shook says in all caps, Clayton is very excited to see Johnson. And I don't see what you did there, you freak. But, hey, we appreciate you, man. Mountain Man Pack, been a member for 11 months. Good morning, Posse. Go, Pack, go. Good to see you in here, bud. Listen, appreciate everybody jumping in, man. It's a huge crowd. Didn't expect this just on a random live stream here on game day. We're going to be back live at – going to get the time right here. 1:45 p.m. Central Time today for the pregame show. Guys, we'll be taking you all the way up to kickoff. We'll show you live Twitter action of what's going on inside Lambeau Field, who's active, who's inactive. Are we really playing the starters? How many of the starters are we playing? It's going to be a really, really good time. We'll have some boots on the ground in Lambeau. Both Tim and Jacob are at Lambeau Field today to watch the game. I may be flying solo for the pregame unless Emilio rolls out of bed in time. And some of you guys are going, how in the world at 2:45 p.m. Eastern time, his local time, is he not out of bed yet? Ask him that question. Don't ask me. All right. So if you guys would, hit that like button, hit subscribe. If this was your first time hanging out with us, hey, welcome into PTA. Feel free to jump in. The water is fine. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure that you click that bell icon so you're notified every time we go live here on PTA. We'll see y'all at 1:45 Central. I'm going to go out here and clear about 2 acres of land, doing a little weed eating, a little redneck therapy, get back in here, grab a shower, and it's game day, baby. Really excited about it. Appreciate everybody. Y'all have a wonderful day.
Here we go.
We're out.
Bye, guys.